So there is no music, so if you'd like to turn on your own music, you're welcome to. We're going to begin in Supta Baddha Konasana, which is butterfly on your back. So bringing our feet bottoms together, we will lower ourselves down onto the mat, laying on our backs here. Letting your knees splay out wide. Go ahead and close your eyes. Try and press your lower back into the mat. If you feel like you need support, if you have blocks, you can place them under your legs here. Otherwise, just let them fall. You're going to bring your right hand to your heart and your left hand on your belly. And we'll go ahead and take a few breaths here. Just relaxing. Feeling your chest rise on your inhale and fall on your exhale. Just focusing on nothing but our breath, letting our minds clear. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling, feeling that chest rise, exhaling through the mouth. And just continue here, focusing on your breath. Relaxing into the pose. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice, you can do so at this time. If you'd like to dedicate your practice to someone, you can do that as well. Take one more breath like this, and then we'll begin to raise our arms up over our head, placing them on the ground behind us. Stretching our fingertips out long. Taking a big inhale here, and as we exhale, bringing our hands down, bringing our feet up to meet our hands up in the air. Coming into this butterfly pose, bound angle. And as you exhale, release your feet back down to the mat, stretching your arms up over your head. Taking a deep inhale here, and as you exhale, bringing your feet up to meet your hands. Bringing your hands to meet your feet. Letting them meet halfway, I guess. Unless you want to bring your feet up over your head, then you're welcome to. And go ahead and release your feet back to the mat, releasing your arms back behind you. Inhale, drawing everything up to meet towards the sky. And exhaling, bringing everything back down. One more inhale, bringing your feet up to meet your hands. And exhale, back down. Go ahead and stretch your legs out long. Pointing your toes here. You're going to bring your arms down by your side. Keeping your left foot down on the ground, you're going to lift your right leg up into the air. Go ahead and grab behind your right calf or your thigh, whatever's available to you. And very gently, we're going to inhale to find length, and exhale, we're going to try and draw that knee a little closer to our nose, keeping our leg nice and straight, so it might not come very close to you, and that's okay. I have very tight hamstrings, so my leg doesn't get super close. But if you're a ballerina, go ahead and bring those toes behind your head. And go ahead and, with your breath, very gently try and pull that leg a little closer to your face. Really feeling that stretch in the hamstring here. And we'll take take one more breath and release that right leg down to the mat. And then we'll lift that left leg up high, pointing our toes here, grabbing behind the calf or the thigh. And gently beginning to very slowly pull that leg down towards us. Keeping that leg as straight as we can, depending on the tightness of your hamstrings. You may have to leave a little bend in it, and that's okay. Just trying to straighten it as much as you can. Working with your breath to bring it a little closer down to your face. Inhaling, lengthening that leg. Exhaling, maybe trying to draw it a little closer to you. And very gently, we'll release that leg down to the mat. We'll bring our feet bottoms to the ground, bending our knees. Knees are pointed up to the sky. And we'll bring our fingertips to the edges of our heels. And we're going to go ahead and measure off for bridge pose. We're going to take an inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to press our feet into the mat and begin to lift our hips to the sky. Pressing into the mat as much as we can. If you have it available to you, you're welcome to place a block underneath your low back, right above your tailbone here, and come into a supported bridge. And if you have a block supporting you, you're welcome to just stay there. If you don't have a block, slowly begin rolling yourself back down. Bringing your hips back to the mat. Taking another inhale here, and as you exhale, pressing your feet into the ground as you lift your hips up. Lifting your thighs and your hips up towards the sky. And if you're able to, start to sort of shimmy your shoulders underneath you. Taking a few breaths here and then gently rolling ourselves back down. Placing our tailbones on the ground here. Taking an inhale, and one more time we'll exhale and we'll begin pressing into the feet, lifting our hips, coming into bridge pose once again. Lifting our hips as high as we can. And start to shimmy your shoulder blades underneath you, and if it's available to you, you can clasp your hands together, leaving them down on the mat, getting your shoulder blades rolled under even more. And we'll take a few breaths here. Lifting our hips high, keeping our shoulders underneath us. And if your hands are clasped, go ahead and release them. And if you have a block underneath you, you can remove that as well. And slowly we'll roll ourselves down vertebrae by vertebrae. And back to the mat. We'll stretch our legs out long. We'll stretch our arms out long to the mat behind us, taking a full body stretch here. And we'll gently roll ourselves over to the right, pressing into the hand to take ourselves up to a seated position. And we'll come onto hands and knees. We're going to come into tabletop pose here. So taking a moment to check your alignment. You want your wrists below your shoulders, your knees below your hips. Your belly button is pulled into your spine. Your back is long and flat from the crown of your head to your tailbone. And leaving your hips and your knees stacked exactly how they are, you're going to begin walking your hands out, coming into puppy pose here. And you have two options. You can bring your forehead down towards the floor, or you can bring your chin down towards the floor. Maybe try them both out and see which one feels better for you. Which one gives you more of an enjoyable stretch here. Remembering to keep those hips stacked above the knees. slowly begin to walk your hands back, coming into table pose. And we're going to tuck our toes under, and we're going to shift our bottoms back so that our bottoms are resting on top of our heels, our toes are tucked under, and we're sitting up nice and tall here. Taking a little toe stretch. Listen. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, reach our hands back down. Another one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, our hands to prayer. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling our hands to prayer here. Inhale, reach up one more time. Exhaling to prayer. And slowly we're going to begin walking our hands out, coming first into bridge pose, making sure that the knees are stacked below the hips. You can go ahead and untuck your toes. And once again, we're going to walk our fingertips out far in front of us to puppy pose. Either bringing our forehead towards the ground or our chin. Maybe if you tried it one way last time, maybe try it the other way this time. Making sure your hips are stacked above your knees. Taking another breath here and then beginning to walk your hands back to tabletop position. Taking a moment to check our alignment, making sure our wrists are below our shoulders, our knees are below our hips. Belly button is pulled into spine, back is long and flat. And we're going to extend that right leg out, long behind us. And we're going to press into the right toes as we shift our weight back, like we're trying to press that right heel against the ground. Feeling a calf stretch here. And go ahead and shift forward on your toes, releasing that stretch. And shift back like you're trying to press that heel against the ground. And shift forward on the toes. And one more time back like you're trying to press the heel against the ground. And this one will hold for a few breaths here. Feeling that stretch in the calf. Pressing into it as much as you can. And then come forward on the toes. We're going to lift that right leg up. And we're going to bring the right leg across the left and over towards the left corner of the room. Placing the toes on the ground here. So we can feel a stretch in that hip. If you need a little bit more, you can start pressing your heel towards the ground. Deepening the stretch. Getting a little bit of another calf stretch here as well as this little hip flexor stretch, hip stretch. And slowly we'll bring that right leg up. Bring it back, tucking it underneath us, coming into tabletop pose. Taking a moment to check our alignment, making sure our hips are still stacked above our knees, our wrists are below our shoulders. And we'll extend that left leg back, coming up onto the toes here. And slowly we'll begin to press into that left foot, trying to press that left heel down towards the ground. Feeling that calf stretch. Coming up on the toes, pressing ourselves forward to release that stretch. And then pressing back, pressing that heel back towards the ground. Pressing the toes into the ground, pressing ourselves forward, releasing that stretch. And once more, pressing our heel back towards the ground here, feeling that calf stretch. This one we'll hold for a few breaths. And see if you can get that heel a little closer to the ground, pressing a little bit deeper into the stretch here. Go ahead and draw yourself back. Lift that left leg up, crossing it over the right, bringing the left toes down towards the right corner of the room. Coming into a hip stretch here. Pressing the foot into the ground. Feeling that stretch. And slowly we'll begin lifting the left leg up, placing the left knee back down. Coming back into tabletop pose here. And we'll bring our right toes up. Come up onto the right toes, extend the left arm in front of us. Bring the right toes up, flexing that right foot. And we'll bring it out to the side. Bringing our right leg out to the right, our left arm out to the left. Extending nice and long, back to center. Extending as long as we can. Replacing the hand, replacing the knee. Coming up on the left toes here, reaching the right arm out in front of us, kicking back through that left heel, lifting the left leg up, and taking it out to the side. Right arm out to the right, left leg out to the left. Keeping the integrity in our back here, making sure that we're not letting our bellies droop. And we'll come back to center, replace the hand, replace the knee. Come up on the right toes, bringing the left arm up in front of us. Raising that right leg up behind us. Coming out to the side. Right leg to the right, left arm to the left. Keeping our core nice and tight so we're not letting our belly drop. Coming back to center. Replacing the hand, replacing the knee. Coming up on the left toes, extending that right arm. Lifting that left leg, extending through that left heel, and coming out to the side. Bringing the right arm out to the side, the left arm out to the left, the left leg out to the left. And we'll come back to center, replace the hand, replace the knee, and we'll sit back on our heels to child's pose. Stretching our arms out long in front of us, sitting back deeply onto our heels. Using our fingertips to pull us a little deeper in the stretch here. And slowly we'll begin walking our hands over to the right. Sitting our left glute into our heel. Really pressing ourselves back, feeling the side stretch here. Breathing into your side body. And slowly walking our hands back to center. Stretching our arms out long in front of us, using our fingertips to draw ourselves a little deeper into the stretch. And then slowly walking our hands over to the left. Sitting our right glute into our foot here, really sitting into it as much as we can to feel this stretch in the side body. Breathing into the stretch here. And we're going to walk our fingertips back to center, taking a nice stretch here. Taking an inhale, and as we exhale, drawing ourselves back up to tabletop position. Checking our alignment here, making sure our wrists are below our shoulders, our knees are below our hips. Our belly button is pulled into our spine, and our back is long and flat. Taking an inhale here, lifting that right leg, bringing the right knee in, and stepping the right knee forward. Bringing that right leg between the hands here. Bringing our hands up to our leg. We'll slowly begin to lift ourselves up. Coming into a modified low lunge with our left knee down on the ground. And slowly we'll begin pressing into that front hip, to the front knee, bending into it, coming into a hip flexor stretch here, dipping our hips forward, still keeping our belly buttons pulled into our spine. We'll lift our arms up here, and we'll begin to do a little back bend. Belly button is pulled into spine. We'll begin lifting our sternum up towards the sky, tucking your chin back, coming into a back bend. And we'll go ahead and bring our shoulder blades together, coming into cactus back bend here. And slowly we'll begin to center our bodies again, bringing our arms up to the sky, coming back into that lunge position. Making sure that our knee is above our ankle, stacked above our ankle, and we'll bring our hands to prayer, and slowly we'll begin twisting over to the right, hooking that left arm outside of the right leg, pressing into the hands, coming into prayer twist here, pressing into the hands, pressing that left arm into the right leg, making sure that we're not letting our body collapse, making sure we're keeping it nice and strong here. Breathing into the stretch, keeping our neck extended long. And we'll inhale ourselves back up to center. Arms will reach up. Exhale, we'll frame that right foot. Step the right leg back. Extend that left knee, or that left leg out. Bending the left leg, bringing the left hand in between the feet here. Coming into a modified low lunge, we'll place our hands on our thighs to bring ourselves up. And slowly we'll begin bending into that front knee, dipping our hips forward. Coming into a hip flexor stretch here, arms will reach up. Pulling our belly buttons into spine, we'll start to tilt back, bringing your sternum towards the sky, tucking our chin in, coming into a little back bend. Cactusing our arms, bringing our shoulder blades together. So we have cactus back bend in addition to a hip flexor stretch here. Breathing into the stretch. And we'll bring ourselves back up to center, aligning our knee, stacking our knee right above our ankle, bringing our hands to prayer, and we'll twist over to the left this time, hooking our right elbow outside of our left leg, pressing into the hands, pressing that arm into the leg, making sure we're keeping our bodies nice and strong here, that we're not collapsing into the pose. then slowly we'll begin bringing ourselves back to center. Arms will reach up. Hands will come down to frame that left foot. And we'll bring our left knee back, coming into tabletop position here. Taking an inhale, and as we exhale, we'll pull our belly button into our spine, begin arching our back, bringing our chin into our chest, coming into cat pose. And inhaling, letting our belly drop as we raise our sternum, opening our throat, coming into cow, and sitting back on our heels to child's pose. Taking an inhale here and using that exhale to draw yourself up to that cat position, really over-exaggerating that arch. Inhaling, letting your belly hang, opening your throat, coming into cow, and sitting back on your heels to child's pose. And we'll go ahead and take a few more flows like this with your own breath. As fast or as slow as feels good to you here. Really over-exaggerating these movements as much as you can to get the most from the stretches. This is one of the best flows for lower back pain. And then the next time you come to child's pose, we'll hold. Extending the fingertips out far in front of us, stretching as much as we can here. Reaching our fingertips long, inhaling. As we exhale, drawing ourselves up to that tabletop position. Taking a moment to check our alignment, making sure our knees are below our hips. Our wrists are below our shoulders, our belly button is pulled into our spine, our back is long and flat from the crown of our head to our tailbone. We'll tuck our toes under and start pressing into the hands as we gently lift our knees about an inch above the ground for bear pose. We'll start pressing our chest back towards our bent knees, coming into halfway down dog, and slowly we'll begin pedaling the feet, coming into downward facing dog here. Go ahead and take a few moments here to get comfortable in your down dog. Pedaling the feet, maybe swaying the hips from side to side. Just doing whatever feels good to you in this first down dog. And then slowly we'll begin bending into the knees, coming through that halfway down dog position. Hovering the knees above the ground for bear. Dropping the knees for table. And sitting back on our heels to child's pose. Taking an inhale here as we exhale, drawing ourselves up to table. Tucking the toes, hovering the knees for bear. Pressing our chest back towards our thighs for halfway down dog. Lifting our hips for downward facing dog. Pressing into the hands, pressing our chest back towards our thighs. Bending into the knees for halfway down dog. Hovering the knees above the ground for bear. Dropping the knees for table. And sitting back on our heels to child's pose. Taking an inhale here, and as we exhale, drawing ourselves up to table. Tucking the toes, hovering the knees for bear. Pressing our chest back towards the thighs for halfway down dog. Lifting the hips for downward facing dog. Bending into the knees for halfway down dog. Hovering the knees for bear. Dropping the knees for table. And sitting back on our heels to child's pose. Taking one more inhale here, and as we exhale, drawing ourselves up to table. Tucking the toes, hovering the knees for bear. Pressing our chest back towards our thighs for halfway down dog. And slowly lifting our hips up to downward facing dog. And this down dog will hold for a few breaths. So really make sure you're pressing strongly into the hands. Fingertips are wide apart. Chest is pressing back towards the thighs. Heels are pressing back towards the floor. And slowly we'll begin looking forward to the hands. Tiptoeing our feet so our legs are straight as long as we can. We'll tiptoe up towards the top of the mat here, coming into forward fold. And we'll go ahead and grab our elbows here and maybe sway from side to side a little bit. If you'd like to, you can let your hands hang down, coming into ragdoll. Still swaying from side to side. You're welcome to shake your head yes and no. And then we'll bend that right knee as we straighten that left leg, and we'll start walking our hands over to the left to that straightened leg. Feeling a stretch here in the IT band. And we'll walk our hands back towards center. Straighten that right leg, bend the left knee as we walk our hands over towards that straightened right leg. Feeling the stretch in the other side. And we'll walk our hands back to center, coming into forward fold. We'll press our hands against our shins as we lift ourselves up halfway with a flat back from the crown of our head to our tailbone. Straightening the legs, straightening the back. Exhaling down into that forward fold, placing our hands on our hips. We will raise our elbows, raise our chest, raise our chin as we come up with a flat back here. Inhale, arms reach, and exhaling our hands to prayer. Inhale, arms reach up, and this time we're going to use our right hand to grab our left wrist and bend over to the right, extending through those left fingertips. Feeling that stretch through the left side body. Inhaling up to center, left hand grabs the right wrist, pulls it over to the left, extending through those right fingertips. Feeling the stretch in the right side body. Inhaling back up to center, and exhale, swan diving down for forward fold. Pressing into the shins for halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up with a flat back. Exhaling, hands to prayer. Inhaling, arms reach up. The right hand grabs that left wrist, pulling it over to the right. Coming up on the right toes if you want a little bit more. Coming into a crescent shape with your body. Inhaling, arms reach. Exhaling, the left hand pulls onto that right wrist, extending that left leg out to the side. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, swan diving down to that forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold, and inhale, reverse swan diving up. Right hand grabs the left wrist as we pull it over to the right. You can extend those right toes, or if you're ready for a little bit more, float that right leg up off the ground. Feeling the side stretch and getting a little balance here. Inhale, back to center. And as we exhale, we'll grab that right wrist with the left hand, bringing the left foot out to the side, or even hovering that left leg. Getting a little balance with our side stretch here. And inhale, back up to center. Exhale, swan diving down to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And we're going to step our feet apart. We're going to heel toe them so they're about as wide as our mat here. And we are going to wrap our peace fingers, our first and our middle finger, around our big toes here, taking yogi toe hold. And at first, bend into the knees deeply to really grab those toes. And then slowly start to straighten your legs as much as you can, lifting yourself up. Seeing if you can get to halfway lift here with a flat back, straightening your legs as much as your body allows. And bending back down, coming into that deep forward fold, bending the knees as much as you can, releasing the feet. And we'll step our feet out wide. I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see what I'm doing. You can stay where you are. We'll step our feet out wide, coming into star pose here. And we'll reach the arms up, coming into full star pose. And slowly we'll begin swan diving down to a forward fold here. Hands will place below the nose. We'll come into halfway lift. And then slowly we'll start walking our fingertips down to our toes again, taking that yogi toe hold, taking those peace fingers, wrapping them around the big toes here. Coming into a wide-legged forward fold. So using that yogi toe hold to pull yourself deeper into the stretch, maybe bending your elbows a little bit more, bringing your chest back towards your legs. Using your own breath here. Inhale to find length in your spine. Exhale to draw yourself a little deeper into the stretch. And releasing the toes. We'll bring our hands back underneath our nose, pressing ourselves up into halfway lift. And then we will bring our feet back closer together, heel toeing the feet back so that they're touching, coming into forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold, and we'll step the right leg back and the left leg back, coming into plank pose here, and slowly we'll lower our knees towards the ground. And our knees are on the ground. Now we're going to lower our chest and our chin, coming down with a flat back, coming down to the ground, coming onto our bellies here. And we're going to press into the hands very lightly and start lifting our chin, lifting our chest up off the ground. We're going to come into baby cobra first. So lift your hands slightly. We're not pressing into the hands at all. Coming into baby cobra. Go ahead and release yourself back down to the mat. This time we're going to press into the hands as we lift our chest, lifting up into king cobra here. Rolling our shoulder blades back and down, keeping our hips pinned against the floor. And slowly lowering ourselves back down to the mat, tucking our toes under, pressing ourselves up, lifting our hips, coming into downward facing dog. And slowly we're going to begin walking our feet up towards the front of the mat. Coming into forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. And we're going to step that right leg back, coming into low lunge here, runner's lunge. We're going to place our right hand on the mat as we sweep our left arm up to the sky, coming into easy twist. Arms are one long straight line, shoulders are stacked here, chest is open and lifted. That left hand will come back down to frame the left foot, coming back into runner's lunge. We'll pivot the right foot so it's parallel to the short edge of the mat, and we'll cartwheel the hands up and open, coming into warrior two. Making sure that we're pressing equally into both legs, rotating our thighs outward, tucking our tailbone in. Torso is straight up and down, shoulders roll back and down in that warrior two. And we'll take an inhale here, and as we exhale, we'll draw our hands up to the sky, straightening that right leg. And we'll bend back into the warrior two. Inhaling to straighten. Exhaling back into the pose. Inhaling to straighten. Exhaling back into the pose. Inhaling to straighten. This time we're going to bring our arms out to a T, still keeping that right leg straight. And we're going to start keeping that left leg straight. And we're going to start reaching out with that left arm. And slowly we're going to rotate the arms, coming into triangle pose here. Using a block if you need to, or going ahead and placing your hand on your calf, on the floor, on your shin, whatever is available to you. Making sure that we're keeping the chest open and lifted. Arms are in one long straight line. Shoulders are stacked. And we'll begin bending into that left knee as we reverse our warrior here, bringing that left arm up and over our ear. We'll take that right hand and grab the left wrist, and extending through those left fingertips, we'll pull that left arm a little further, feeling that stretch in the side body. And we'll open up back into warrior two, cartwheel the hands down to frame that left front foot. Step the right leg in for forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold, and we'll go ahead and step the left leg back, coming into runner's lunge here, planting the left hand inside of the right foot. We'll sweep the right arm up to the sky, coming into easy twist. Shoulders are stacked, arms are in one long straight line, chest is up and lifted. And we'll bring our hand back down to frame that right front foot. We'll pivot the left foot so it's parallel to the short edge of the mat. Cartwheeling our arms open into warrior two. Making sure we're pressing equally into the thighs, rotating our thighs outward. Tailbone is tucked. Belly button is pulled into spine. Torso is straight up and down. Shoulders roll back and down here. And as we inhale, we'll rise up, straightening that right front leg, bringing our arms up to the sky. Exhaling back into that warrior two pose. Inhale, extending, straightening that front leg. Exhaling back into warrior two. Inhale to extend. Exhale, bending into warrior two. Inhale to extend. Exhale, bending into that warrior two. One more time, we'll inhale up to rise. Keeping that right leg straight, we'll bring our arms out to a T, and we'll reach out through that right arm. We'll reach out as far as we can, as long as we can, before bringing that, tilting our body, bringing that right hand down to our shin, to the ground, to a block, to whatever is available to us. Coming into triangle pose, keeping the arms in one long straight line, chest is open and lifted. Shoulders are stacked. And bending into that right knee, we will come up, we'll reverse our warrior. Our left hand will grab onto that right wrist as we pull it back behind us, extending long through those right fingertips. Feeling that stretch in the right side body. We'll open back out to warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down to frame that right front foot. Step the right foot back, coming into plank. We'll lift our hips up into downward facing dog, and slowly we'll begin walking our hands back towards our feet on the back of the mat. We will start to slide our fingertips underneath our feet. Our goal is to get our toes all the way up to our wrists. We're bending deeply into the knees here. Standing on our hands, trying to get our toes all the way up to our wrists, bending as much as we need to. Coming into monkey pose here. And then slowly we'll begin straightening the knees as much as we can, lifting ourselves up. Feeling a stretch here. And very slowly, very gently begin removing your hands from underneath your feet. Heel toeing your feet together. Lifting up halfway at first. And then rolling back into your forward fold. And rather than reverse swan diving, I want you to very slowly, very gently with your spine rounded, roll yourself up to standing vertebrae by vertebrae. Bringing your head up last. And we'll inhale, arms reach up. And we're going to do a little balance here. So we're going to start by grounding into the left foot. Go ahead and lift your left toes up off the ground and plant them back in, making sure you're pressing into all four corners of that left foot. Lifting up through the kneecap, lifting up through the thigh, tucking the tailbone in, pulling the belly button into spine. We'll go ahead and we'll come up on the right toes. We'll bring the right knee out to the right. Hands can be at prayer, or you can leave them down for now. And we're going to come into tree. If you'd like to, you can stay right here. You can bring that right foot to your shin, or you can bring that right foot to your thigh. Just make sure that you're not placing it against your knee. And hands can be at prayer. And when you feel like you're ready, you can go ahead and extend your branches. Reaching your fingertips out wide. If you'd like to, you can bring your palms together above your head. Make sure you're lifting your body up nice and tall here. Keeping yourself extended. And we'll bring our hands back to prayer. We'll bring the right knee out in front of us and slowly bring the right leg down. Go ahead and give yourself a little shake if you need to. We'll start grounding into the right leg here. Lifting up the right toes, feeling all four corners of the right foot pressing into the mat. We're placing the right toes down, pulling up through the kneecap, lifting up through the thigh, tucking the tailbone in, pulling the belly button into spine. Coming up on the left toes, extending that left leg out to the left. Your tree pose can be here. You can bring that left foot to your shin, or you can bring it all the way up to your thigh. Once again, you just don't want to be pressing against your kneecap. Hands can be at your heart center. You can begin growing your branches, extending your arms. You can bring your hands together above your head. You're welcome to do whatever feels good to you here. Bring our hands back down to prayer. Slowly bringing that left knee in, replacing the left foot down on the ground. Inhale, arms reach up, and as we exhale, we'll swan dive down. And we'll go ahead and bend down, coming into a seated position here. And we're going to draw our right knee into our chest, extending that left leg out long. Go ahead and flex that left foot here. We will wrap the left arm over our right knee, Bring the right arm up and back behind us, twisting over to the right. Making sure we're lifting up tall through the crown of the head, extending here. We'll come back to center and we will take that right leg, crossing it over our left, bringing our right foot down to the ground outside of the left leg here. Once again, sitting up nice and tall, we'll reach up, our arms reach, inhaling, and as we exhale, we'll start folding over that left leg, trying to grab onto the left shin, or ankle, or foot, whatever's available to us. Inhaling to find length in our spine, exhaling to draw ourselves a little deeper in this stretch here. Inhaling to find length, exhaling to draw ourselves a little deeper. And inhale, reach yourself back up. Uncross the legs, bring them out long. Maybe give them a little shake here. Bring that left knee in towards your chest. We'll wrap the right arm over the left leg. Left arm will come back behind us as we twist over to the left. Sitting up nice and tall here, extending through the crown of the head. Enjoying the spinal twist. Keeping that right foot flexed. We'll come back to center. We'll cross that left foot over the right, bringing that left foot down to the ground beside us. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall, and as we exhale, we'll slowly begin to fold forward over that right leg, grabbing onto the shin, the ankle, the foot, whatever's available to us. If you have a strap, you're welcome to use that as well. Flexing those right toes. Inhaling to find length in your spine and exhaling to draw your nose a little closer to your knee here. Inhaling to find length, exhaling, drawing yourself deeper into the stretch. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Extend both of your legs out long in front of you. And we're going to roll ourselves back onto our mat. And we are going to bring our feet bottoms, or actually we're going to extend our legs out long. We're going to place our hands underneath our glutes. And slowly we're going to inhale, we're going to begin lifting our chest, lifting our chin, coming up onto the crown of the head here, coming into fish pose. Pointing the toes if it feels good to you. Lifting the chest, lifting the chin. And slowly we're going to release ourselves back down, bringing our hands out from underneath our bottoms, stretching our arms out long above our heads, pointing the toes, getting length in our body, flexing the toes. We'll go ahead and bring our feet bottoms up towards the sky and either grabbing the outside edges of the feet or taking yogi toe hold. We'll bring our knees in towards our armpits and flexing our feet as we come into happy baby here. And you're welcome to do whatever feels good to you in this happy baby. If you'd like to gently rock from side to side to massage the spine, you can. If you'd like to extend one leg, coming into window pose, extend the other. You're welcome to extend both legs if it feels good. You can continue rocking here to massage the spine. Just do whatever feels good to your body in this happy baby pose. We'll take another breath here, and then we'll release our fingertips from our toes. So we'll point our legs up to the sky, pointing our toes. We'll bring our right foot towards the right corner of the mat, our left foot towards the left corner of the mat. We'll roll our shoulder blades under, placing our palms up towards the sky, closing our eyes here. We'll come into Shavasana, letting our bodies feel heavy on the mat. Taking a moment to thank our bodies for everything they did for us. Thanking ourselves for taking this time out. If you set an intention for your practice, I invite you to come back to that now. Or if you dedicated your practice to someone, you can think of that as well. And then just allow your body to relax completely into the mat. Letting your mind clear here. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you like, as long as suits your body. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. I wish you health and happiness. Namaste.